We're at the RHS Malvern Spring Festival today, and I'm going to be looking at some school gardens, and that's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden and King Seeds. Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels. Well, we're at the RHS Malvern Spring Festival today, which is the first big RHS show of the season. It's got everything the gardener could need. We've got the floral marquee, we've got some wonderful show gardens, lots of outdoor stands, and the show gardens behind us are for schools. And this is a school gardening competition that's been running now for a number of years. I think there are 11 gardens this year. And what we're going to do is catch up with Chris Collins. He's a horticulturist and a broadcaster, and he's been involved in this competition for a number of years. Hello, you two.
Hi, Martin. Nice to see you.
Pleased to meet you.
This is Lucy.
Yeah, so amazing. Tell us about this garden.
So our garden is based on an English country garden. It's designed by the children. I draw up their ideas, hand it back to them, and they go, no, yes, no. And
so they get the final say, basically.
They get the final say. I draw it all out then, and then off it goes. They get free rein with plants and things like that. A lot of it we dig up from last year, or it's plants that they've grown themselves. So some of the geraniums, the begonias, the basilises, lots and lots of them.
That's all grown in-house.
It's grown in the polytunnel at school.
Wow.
So we've got a small polytunnel, but it's rammed. By the time it comes to here, it's rammed. We come here usually with a few things already built, but not many. So Robert Plant had been built by the art
You see Robert Plant is brilliant.
Oh, right, yeah.
The emphasis on the plant. And when we get here, we fill it with soil, and then the children put the moss all on it and they plant all the plants in.
Wow.
It's grass when we get here, and they literally do the whole thing. They've built
See,
this.
I have to say, Lucy's looking quite a lot cleaner today than she was on Friday.
Okay.
She was like, had the scrubbing brush out since I saw her last.
And how many children would you have had working on this?
At Gardening Club, we have 5 members. There's me, Mrs. Russell, Mr. Thacker, and 5 children. So here we had 5 children.
Wow.
and me and Mrs. Russell.
Okay.
And that's it. And we build it from the bottom up in 3 days.
And the theme this year is music, which is
Music,
obvious
yeah,
from your
English.
garden.
But the piano's amazing because when it's on, it
Yeah,
sprays
it
out
sprays
music.
out.
Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just wondering who's missing a piano. Someone's missing a
Somebody,
piano.
yeah, but somebody
Don't
gone
tell
to...
anyone because they'll all want to.
Are you going to send it back when you
I know,
finish
yeah, I
with
might
it?
drop it on the doorstep and just pretend.
And what will happen to this at the end of the show?
This will come back to us. So a lot of it will be planted as it is in school. So we've got the last year's garden is already planted up and it's still as it was. This one will go back, but maybe not on full scale. Some of the plants we'll sell at the school fair, so that gives us funding ready for next year.
Brilliant.
This will come back as it is, and it'll go to the outside in the environmental area where there's lots of eco stuff going on. The water bath will go back with Harvey. Harvey and his granddad made that.
Oh, wow.
We used it last year, and they've let us make.
I have
use
to
it
point
again
out
this
as well
year.
these beautiful clay roses.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've got one of these on my desk at home from last year. So these are all made by the kids as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
And
they
it's-
all made those last year.
What I like about the garden is it's got those little touches, you know, that the pupils have been
Yeah.
front and forth. I really noticed that. And I think with kids gardening is, the more you look at them, the more you see. You know, there's always little bits getting revealed, and I think this garden's
Yeah.
quite typical for that.
It's,
Yeah.
And Lucy, you can be honest now. What's it like having Chris working with you on this project?
She loves it, mate.
I love it, don't I?
She can't keep her. You know what I mean? That's just struggling me. No, Lucy's just fresh air. She is. I came here on Friday. We were here last week, and it was raining on the Friday. Everyone was caked in mud. They never. It's what's amazing about it is that no one ever looks miserable, or everyone's kind of.
Never,
It's very
ever.
done with a very positive, upbeat. And I love these school gardens for that. I love it for that
Everyone's
reason.
always smiling. The children,
Yeah.
children are always absolutely
Brilliant,
black,
yeah.
and I mean,
They are
full
proper.
on
I've got some.
dirty.
Yeah.
The photos
I've got a
at
photo
the
of
end,
it.
it's like,
The only people get annoyed is because we keep asking for more compost.
I
But
know,
I've got
yeah.
a brilliant photo of two of the girls just
Literally.
sat on the top of it with
like
forks.
forks, because they were so exhausted at filling this with compost. It was hilarious.
So you'll be back next year?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Good stuff.
Definitely,
All right, so thank you,
definitely.
Lucy.
Lucy,
No
thank you.
worries.
Thank you, darling.
Nice to
Chris,
meet
can you
you.
show us another
Thank
one?
Cheers, girl. Cheers, girl.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
let's go and see the one up here, yeah.
So this is one you wanted to show us, Chris.
This is one of my favourites for a couple of reasons. It's Pathways, which are a little school based at the back of Malvern here, so they're on
Right.
site every day. Special needs, and I just love these kids. Are so smiley. You know, they're really just smiley kids. And I was wheelbarrowing with the soil with them over when it was raining, and not once did I ever see them look miserable. They're really smiley people.
brilliant,
And when
yeah.
I love the outcome of it. I love all the little details, like the flowers here and stuff. But when it was prize day yesterday, they all came. They all got the blanket out and they sat in their chairs and they talked to the public. And to me, this is an incredibly positive garden. Very, very positive
It
garden.
is, isn't it? Yeah, and there's a lot of work gone into it as well, and lots of plants in there.
All the detail, even the cut conifer to fill it out.
Yeah.
I think Julie Andrews is over here somewhere.
is she?
Yeah, singing away.
Yes.
And then, but I love the little containers here as well with all the mixed planting. But I love these little details like teapots and all these little touches and the little cowbells here.
Yeah.
All these little touches that I think are very. Definitely belong to a children's garden, a kid's garden.
Absolutely,
'Cause I
yes.
don't think adults come up with these sort of little touches.
And
so
you
well.
can see it is the sound of music, isn't it?
It is, when the cows with the
is.
bells.
Exactly, yeah, and the Austrian chateau there. What age group is this competition
Well, this
for?
will be. Well, I mean, so we've got. Most of them are primary, but we've got Pershaw College over here, which is obviously an adult learning college, and this is special needs. So these might be anything from 12 to 20 years old, basically.
Right,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
No, I think it's great. It's fantastic, and they're all so different. Because there's another one we're going to look at, the last one, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Yeah,
Let's go
they
look at
are
that.
very, very different. So this is Best in Show Mine,
Yep.
the kids' gardens. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have wanted to be a judge because it's almost impossible to pull them apart in various
Yeah.
ways. But I think you can see a lot of, I mean, it's quite amazing design. lot of kids' effort's gone into it as well. So this was deemed best in show, and I can kind of see why.
And these are judged by RHS judges, aren't they?
They are, no, yes, it's the proper top range, yeah.
So the competition, I mean, you've got some really wonderful school gardens here, and you've been involved in this competition here at the Malvern Spring Festival now for quite a few years, haven't you?
2012, I think I started, yeah. I was a bit slimmer back then, Martin, to be honest with you, but I'm still around, still coming here. And I'm a school champion, so what I do is I come along, I do workshops with them, so I'll do that in the autumn. We'll choose a theme, I'll kind of base it around that theme, but really I don't deserve any credit because they kind of go away then and they do the designs, and it's very much a big combination of adults and children together, and then they come back with a design and then we get on with the build. So a lot of the details you see in here have been done over the winter or over the into the spring in classes, with art classes or DTI classes, and so that's work's gone on all the way through the winter before it gets to this stage. So then they bring it all in and put it all together, and it's quite amazing, and it's all hands-on. It's not, all the kids are here, they're all getting muddy, they're all getting stuck in. So it's a kind of real big team effort, and I think that's probably what I love about it.
Yeah, and the kids will love that. And do you get to see the designs after you've done your workshop and they've gone away and thought about it? Do you get to see the plans of what
we do? It all comes to Jane Unwin, who I work with, who kind of runs the whole game. Bless her, she's great. So we go away, do the workshop, then all the designs come to us, and we look at them and we make sure that it's okay and they're on the right track, etc. And then it goes on from there. Yeah. So it's a very much Malvern, the 3 county schools. To me, it feels like a big team operation, and that's probably what I like about it the most.
Yeah, it's a great thing, and I would imagine the schools just come back year after year.
Well, it's all, I know Breedon, which is on the end, one of them is here every year without fail. Yeah. So, and then Lucy's starting to come every year. They are here. Sometimes they skip a year, but there is that community feeling for it. And I will say this in all honesty, I deal with lots of school gardens in lots of different scenarios. I work with corporations, I work with RHS sometimes at Tatton or whatever, and no one does it better than Malvern. I think they're kind of versed in it, and I'm maybe a little bit biased because obviously I come here every year, but in terms of standard, they are the bench setter, I would say. They kind of, everyone should be aiming to be like Malvern.
And I suppose for some of the children involved in this, it's probably their first time they've actually got out and got their hands in the soil, so it's great.
We were saying earlier about how once you kind of garden once, you kind of you're into it then.
Exactly,
and also I think that they'll never forget this.
Yeah.
You kind of school, some of it's like a distant memory once you leave, but if you do something like special like this, you never forget it.
I think any children that come to a show like this and they've got a show garden here and they've got an award, they're going to remember this
always.
For the rest of their
life. They grow up, they have children of their own, they'll want it, you're kind of passing it forward, and I think that's and also there's the angle that some of the kids, intellect comes in different guises, and maybe the kid that sits in the classroom's quite quiet will light up in this environment, so they all kind of need their little bit of speciality.
I think it's really good. So are you already thinking of ideas for next year?
I think so, yeah. We're discussing themes, but I'll leave that to Miss Unwin.
We won't ask you for any of the things.
But I know already, as soon as it's over, like most flower shows, we're already planning the next go, so yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well done to Bromsgrove.
No, it's amazing what they've done, yes. And they're all fantastic, they really are.
They really are,
I think it's great that you help them as well.
Yeah, I enjoy it very much,
I guarantee it'll be a great night of fun, filled, fabulous flowers, and at the end, everyone's going to get raffled or auctioned off so you can take one home with you. Thank you.
Well, thank you for watching Pots and Trowels, and I hope you've enjoyed this little tour around the school gardens. They really are fantastic. We'll be back again next week in the garden, so we'll see you then. Bye.